Helen Sims née Katz.
April 1944, the Hungarian, they used to call them gendarmes, came to our house and they just chased us out. They locked, sealed the doors, and they put us together. We had a shul for a few hours. Then with horses and wagons, they took us to Munkács ghetto. I had an old uncle who couldn't walk. They beat him to death. We were watching how he was dying. Then we stayed in this ghetto for about 2 months. From there, they took us to Auschwitz. There, they took all our clothes away, and they shaved us. And they called that Entlosung. They gave us all rags to put on, and we stayed in Auschwitz for about 2 months. From there, they took us to Unterlüss, where we felt it's better already because we were going to work and we got a little food once a day, which wasn't too much. Every day the same thing. It was for about 8 to 10 months. I forgot to mention the food we ate in Unterlüss. It was every day the same thing. It was boiling water with the peels of the potatoes and maybe little pieces of potatoes in it that we couldn't even see it. But it was better than in Bergen-Belsen. We felt that it was better. We were going to work early in the morning. It was still dark. We had only one dress, whatever they gave us, a striped dress, prisoner's dress, in wooden shoes. We had to walk to work. We were building a street. And after that, they put us in a munition factory to work at night. That was night shift. From there, when we finished there, they changed this group and they made us cut out trees because they said they're going to build railroad tracks. We did that for a while. And then all of a sudden, one day, the Gestapo came in and they said that we should all go out from the barracks. They were counting us 5 by 5. They didn't say what they're doing with us. The sick people, they were leaving behind. And then the next minute, we just heard, they just chased us in the barracks, and we were locked in. They had on the windows, they used to lock us in every night. Once it got dark, they put like wooden doors on the windows. It was locked that nobody could open it. They locked it from the outside, and so were the doors locked. Well, we don't know what happened, but all of a sudden, in the morning, we just heard that those wooden windows are falling down, and 2 men came in, one was the cook, and the other one was a Gestapo, but he was supposed to be one of the better ones. He was dressed in civilian clothes, and they said we should not make a panic, that soon we'll be free, that the English army is not too far from there where we were, and we should just be quiet. They don't have too much food. And we listened to them. A few hours later, one of the girls tried to escape, but a group of civilian people came with a truck. They had rifles, and they just packed us all on the trucks. They didn't say where they're taking us or what. They took us, but then we found out that we arrived to Bergen-Belsen. In Bergen-Belsen, when we were standing lined up, they were putting us where we are going to stay, in which barracks. And one of the girls that was watching the rest of them. She was the head over them. She said, we'll get a piece of bread because we were still healthier looking than the people that were all this time in Bergen-Belsen. We have to do some work. She did not say what work. They took us out. It was like in the woods, and there were big mountains covered with blankets, and we just saw legs and arms hanging down. It was the skeletons that they couldn't clean away in time. So they wanted us to do that. So one of the girls that were taking care of us in Unterlust, she told us in Hungarian, girls, run wherever you can, because if we'll work with these skeletons, we'll be dead. And we listened to her. We were running, and we ran into one of the barracks, and we were hiding wherever we could. And all of a sudden, a few minutes later, we just heard like a microphone going, Achtung, Achtung, here is the English army. And we thought that the Germans want to get us out and they want to kill us, so we wouldn't budge. But one of the girls that lived in this barrack, she said she was in Bergen-Belsen from before. So she said that we should not be scared. We could come out from the hideout, that it is the English army. And we did run out. Well, they gave us food. We were grabbing food wherever we could, and we all got this whole group. We were about 800 that arrived from Unterlust. I think all of us got sick because we were very hungry and our stomachs were dried up, and we ate whatever we could find. So we got typhus. Oh, I forgot to mention how we got typhus, I guess, because they put us in barracks where there were very sick people. They were full of lice, that when we were lying down, they used to call that the koyas. It was a bed where a few people slept on one bed, just on the boards. And the lice we just actually felt the lice were falling on us. The next day we got all sick. That's how we got the typhus, and they took us in. By that time, the English came in already. We were liberated. So they took us to the hospital where we didn't even know what was doing, because not everybody had the same type of typhus. I had typhus, and I didn't know what was going on, but then one day I woke up and I felt better already. But we were for a while there. Then they took us to Sweden, and the Swedish people really helped us to get well.
I have to ask you some questions about the ghetto you were in. What was the name of the ghetto, and how long were you there, the dates?
Well, we arrived straight from home, which was in April, and they put us right away. It was they called that a brick factory, and where they used to keep the bricks, where they put us together, because we came in from a town. Mm-hmm. So we were all sleeping there on the floors. And then I don't remember exactly if it was a month or 6 weeks, they took us to Auschwitz.
Mm-hmm. And were you in the same town before the ghetto was set up? Or they took you someplace?
Oh, but no, from home, straight from home, they took us there, to this ghetto.
Oh, but it was in the same area?
Yes, yeah, it wasn't far away, that's right.
Mm-hmm. When was the ghetto set up in your town? When was the Munkaj ghetto set up?
Well, it must have been, I don't even know, because they used to bring people from other towns. People were there already. It must have been about a week before we arrived there, before I arrived there to this ghetto.
What anti-Jewish actions were taken before the ghetto was established? Were there any pogroms or,
Yeah. Well, the Hungarians, They said to the town people that they could go and register for the Jewish properties, which they'll get for nothing. But of course, we left before this happened. But they used to come into town. If an older man with a beard and payas was walking in the street, they used to beat him up. And even the children, the little children, used to run away and hide. They were afraid from the Hungarian gendarmes because they were very mean to the Jews, just like the Germans.
They were like,
The
they
Germans.
worked with the Germans?
They
or?
worked for the Germans.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Did any of your family live in the same ghetto with you?
My sister-in-law and my brother.
What work did you do in the ghetto?
We had no work. I helped out for the it was supposed to be Red Cross. There they beat up all the kids and the old people. They shaved them all, the beards and the payas they took off. And they didn't let them wear a hat. If the old man, like one uncle I had, really, that was very old, and if he put on his yarmulke, they were hitting him with a rubber, what was it? Rubber. They used to hit him with a rubber stick in his head. If he took it off, they hit him again. If he put it on, they just didn't know, they just were looking for trouble.
You were in the same place, so how did the people around, the Gentiles, the Hungarians around that area, how did they react to the Jews?
Well, we had
there weren't any Jews.
Yeah,
there weren't any Gentiles.
No, we saw nobody. We couldn't.
Oh, it was only Jews.
Yeah, we couldn't see anybody. We were not free. We couldn't go out in the streets and nothing.
How did the people around the area, when they were taking you from your house to the ghetto, how did the people react?
The town people, some of them were clapping their hands that they're getting rid of the Jews. And some of them, I guess, didn't feel right. It was all kind of people.
Were there any other refugees in the camp? You know, from different places, not from your town?
Yes, it was from other towns.
When did they come? After you? Before you?
No, before us.
Oh, they were there before you.
you.
Could you leave the ghetto in the beginning?
No.
No.
Not at all. As soon as we got in there, we couldn't make a step out in the street. It was just inside. We were watched by Hungarian, not even Germans at that time. It was Hungarian gendarmes. They were watching over us.
And how many people were in the ghetto?
Gee, that I don't even remember really. It was from a few towns, so it must have been quite a few. Big, because it was an open place actually. It wasn't like in one house, like the city people get in. They put them together in one house. I don't know how many, but the ones that came from town, they were just in this place. They had two. They had, in fact, they had in this town, in this city, they had another ghetto. Ours was called Kalush, Ziegelfabrik. And the other one was something else. I forgot the name of it.
Did you get any mail? Oh, was there a wall? I'm sorry. Was there a wall?
No.
A fence?
Fence, yes.
Was barbed wire?
No, there it wasn't barbed wire.
No, were there men standing
by the wall? No, they were just
wall?
watching. It was so many Hungarian watchdogs, but they were, not dogs.
Men.
Men. The gendarmes that were watching us, that we couldn't escape no place.
Were there special hours when you can go in and out of the ghetto, or?
No, we couldn't go out.
Anybody get any passes?
Yes, there were some people that they picked out if they had to bring in something, so they were going with the gendarme that used to watch. They used to go out to carry in stuff.
What type of guards did you have? German, Jewish, Polish?
Just Hungarian. Just Hungarian guy.
Did you know what was happening in Germany and the Nazis?
No, we didn't know. No.
Did you have any radios?
No.
Were there any underground newspapers or leaflets?
Nothing.
Did you get letters?
No.
Nothing. When did you know the truth about the extermination?
Well, when we came to Auschwitz, even then we couldn't believe it. But when we got off the trains, some people that were cleaning out, it was Jewish people, but they were there longer already, Polish people. They were dressed in like I was dressed after I was there in striped clothes, and they didn't pick up. They were cleaning out the wagons, and they just said, because the older people, they took the older people and children to the left, and the younger ones to the right. And we didn't know what was going on. They told us that they're taking the older people to watch the children. So we believed them. But these people that were cleaning out the trains, they put their heads down. They didn't want they should be seen that they're talking to us. And they said, say goodbye. And if somebody had a child or a father or a mother, they said, say goodbye to your father, your mother, or your child, because you will never see them again. Even then we couldn't believe it. We were so doped up that we couldn't even believe it, that it's true. But it was true, because after I think about a few weeks, when I was in Auschwitz, I was walking on the sidewalk, because we did not have in Auschwitz any toilets. So we had to walk, and even there we had to watch that the Naaser shouldn't catch us, because even for that they were beating us up. So I was walking in the street, and one young man was walking he was pushing a little wagon, like with garbage, and he was dressed in civilian clothes. And I didn't look up, but he said, he greeted me, he recognized me from home, because we were separate, the man and the woman were separate, but he was working because he was picked out, he was from a twin, and they were trying to find out, experimenting on twins. So that's why he was in civilian clothes, in his own clothes, and he was working something, and he greeted me, and he says, I asked him, how is your mother and your father, because I knew that he came with them together. I said, how is your father and your mother? And he says, they are by God. And I didn't know what he's talking about. I said, what are you talking about? So he said, then he told me the story that the older people, as we were walking, he couldn't stop and talk to me, but I was walking on the sidewalk and he was walking in the middle of the street. And he gave me the news what happened to the older people and to the young children, that they were all exterminated.
Did you have any plans to escape from the ghetto?
We couldn't. In Auschwitz we didn't even think of it, but we couldn't even, we wanted to, because they had barbed in the ghetto either.
In the ghetto you couldn't.
But in Auschwitz we had barbed wire, the electric barbed wire. One girl tried to go, she saw one transport arrive, and she recognized her sister who lived in another city. So she was running to the wire, and she died, she was from the electric. It pulled her up, and she was, how do you call that? The brain? Electrocuted, yeah.
What did you eat in the ghetto at different times? Did you always have the same thing?
In the ghetto it was, I don't know, they were bringing in some stuff. They were bringing in, because they still had the city people were in houses, and they still had some food. So I think they were bringing in some food from there, which wasn't too much either. But it was something to eat.
How much did they give you? Did they give you like a slice
Well,
of bread?
it wasn't that they were giving us. We were preparing it ourselves, even on the outside. Like we put up a little fire, and we still had, if somebody brought a little pot with them, because there we still had some clothes. We took to Munkac, we took some bedding too. We still had our own clothes and our own bedding until we went to Auschwitz. They just took everything away. So whatever we had,
Who gave you the food to cook?
I think it was still from Munkac we were getting it. I don't know. I don't even know who it was. I really don't.
How big did you live? How big a place did you live in? How many people were living in the same house as you?
It wasn't a house. It was like I told you. It was like like a stable, but an open stable, a very long one where they used to keep the bricks. So I don't know. It was a lot of people under that one cover.
How many people were in this long thing?
I don't know exactly. It was quite a few families, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Were there any cooking and were there any toilets or you cooked outside?
Yes, I don't even remember really where we went. I don't remember.
What did you use to make fire? Wood? Could you get wood?
Yeah, we got some. It was some wood there because we didn't stay too long really. So whatever it was there.
Were there any political parties there?
No,
No,
not no.
Well, when was the first Judenrat appointed, or was there one in a Jewish council? Was there a Jewish council in the ghetto?
No, I don't think so. I don't remember. Even if it was, I forgot. I don't remember really.
Were there any Jewish police?
No.
None at all.
Mm.
Oh. Okay.
That's all.
I have to ask you about the camps. Some questions about the 3 camps you were in. When did you first come to each of the camps you were in? First Auschwitz.
To Auschwitz. First to Auschwitz. It was in, I think it was in May or the beginning of June.
Of 1944?
1944, yes.
How about Interluce?
Interluce, I stayed in Auschwitz about 2 months, I think, and then I went to Interluce.
And you were in Interluce for how long?
About 8 months.
Oh, so you got to Bergen-Belsen in 1945.
Yeah.
How did you get to each of the camps?
To what?
How'd you get there?
How'd
you get to Auschwitz?
Well, to Auschwitz they took us with trains, but it was animal. We were the cattle trains they didn't even have windows.
Mm-hmm. How many people in that thing?
In that train?
In the car.
I don't know. I don't remember.
And they just pushed in as many people as they
like
could.
cattle. We were on the floor all over sitting. We didn't know where we were going.
How'd you get from Auschwitz to Interluce?
I think it was by train. I don't even remember. It was by train too.
And from Interluce to Bergen-Belsen you got by the trucks.
The trucks. Yeah, because we were only a group of I think about 800 people, 800 women.
Did you arrive alone or with members of your family?
With my sister. No?
To all 3 camps?
Yeah.
And what happened to her?
Well, she was with me all this time. She got sick too. And we were always together.
And she's still alive?
Thank God.
Was there a selection on arrival in Auschwitz?
Yes. You mean a selection of what?
Who dies, who lives,
Yes, well, of course, we didn't know that. Why they are selecting us?
Oh, you didn't know.
We
How about
didn't
in
know.
Interluce? They
In Interluce, when they took us, they
didn't select?
No,
They didn't put,
no.
They didn't separate the older people from the younger people?
There weren't any left anymore. All the people
all the older people were dead?
Yeah, in Auschwitz.
Oh. How about in Bergen-Belsen? When you got there, did they select you for anything?
They didn't have too much time, just that they wanted us to work, and then the English came in, so they didn't have too much time really to make any selections.
Where was Auschwitz? And how big was it?
Auschwitz was in Silesia. I think it's Poland.
Mm-hmm.
And
how big was it?
I don't know. We never saw the town. we don't know how big it was. We never.
We were out. When you got off the trains, you didn't see what it was like.
No, because we got out. It was like in a forest. We lived like in a forest. The barracks were in a forest, and we never saw the town.
What about the guard?
It was a city or a town. I don't know.
What about the guard system in Auschwitz? What type of guards did you have? Jewish
in
police?
Auschwitz? Or in Auschwitz we had Jewish and they called them, it was like capo, Blockeltest, and that's all.
But they were Polish or they were Jewish?
They were Jewish. Most of them were from Poland because the Polish Jews they took to camp before us. So most of them were Polish and from Slovakia too. So most of them were, they were over us. They were like capos and Blockeltesters that had to take care of some of them were very mean. Were just like I should say almost as mean as the Germans because they want to save their life, I guess, so they were mean to us.
What about in Interlus?
In Interlus we had a few girls to that, but it was no capos there.
German or Jewish?
Jewish and German, both.
And you know where it was? Where?
Interlus was close to Bergen-Belsen. Of course, we didn't know at the time. We didn't know where it is, where we are. But when they took us to Bergen-Belsen, so we saw it didn't take too long to get there. So we knew that it was close to Bergen-Belsen.
How long did it take to get from Auschwitz to Interlus?
From Auschwitz to, I don't remember that. I really don't remember.
How about in Bergen-Belsen? It's in Germany.
Yes. What is it? What in Bergen-Belsen?
How big was the camp?
Oh, there were a lot of people. I don't know because we were 800, but there were so many people still there. Of course, most of them were sick. They were covered with blotches. That was like, I think that's why they had all typhus. Most of them died when we came. That they were lying on the streets like nothing.
What about the guards? Did you have guards in Bergen-Belsen?
I wasn't there too long before we were liberated. So we had the guards that were there before. Germans and Jewish.
Men and women?
No.
You only had women?
Women were separated.
Do you know the commander or officers
from
Auschwitz? You know any of the commanders?
I don't remember. I don't remember the names.
What about in Interlus? Do you remember any of the commander, the men, any of the capos or?
In Interlus they had no capos. They didn't have any Jewish capos. Oh, the guards, I don't remember the names. No, I don't. Not even one.
Bergen-Belsen either?
No.
You know what they look like?
Maybe I would recognize them. I don't know. After so many years. I don't know. But I know they used to come. Yeah, they used to come, and they came to select to Auschwitz. You know, the sick people or weak people. They used to come. That was one was Dr. Klein, and Dr. What's his name? I forgot already. Yes, Mengele. But I am sure I would, after so many years, I don't think I would even recognize them. They used to come to select us. You know.
How many how many Germans guarded the camp in Auschwitz?
I don't remember either. I don't know that. I don't know.
How about non-Germans in Auschwitz?
Well, they had for every barrack. I don't remember exactly how many barracks we had. For every barrack, they had a Blockeltest and a Stubenwelltest, that they used to call it. And then they had the capo was the main. had, but I don't even remember the names. Our block health test, I remember the name was Berta. She was from Slovakia, and she was pretty mean too.
You don't remember any of the other
But
names
the
of
other name, the Germans, I
the
don't know.
blockal test or the Stubble tester?
No.
Were the Germans SS or did they belong to other units?
No, they were SS. The ones that watched over us were all SS.
How about an Interlus?
In Interlus too.
They were
it
German?
was a German SS. All of them were SS.
Did you have any non-German, like Ukrainians? Did you have Ukrainians guarding you in Interlus?
No, it was only Germans. Just the cook was from Holland, I understand. They said that he was from Holland, and he wasn't dressed he was dressed in civilian clothes all
Jewish,
the time.
or?
No, he was Gentile.
And how about in Bergen-Belsen? Would you know how many Germans guarded the camp?
No.
Non-Germans?
No, I wouldn't.
But they were SS also?
They were sure, they were SS, and they were, well, I didn't stay too long before I was liberated. And then I got sick right away, so I really didn't see too much of it, because I was sick. While I was there, I was almost all the time sick.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember incidents that could be used to accuse individual Nazis as war criminals in Auschwitz?
Oh, sure. If I would remember their names, I would, sure.
Do you know
the names?
Or incidents, you know? Could you,
like
you know what they looked like?
Well,
then,
even the woman that was over she was an SS. She was the head over us. There was a man too. He was the Oberscharführer, and then she was working with him. She was very, very mean. She even killed one girl because she found...
While people were watching?
While people were watching.
In Auschwitz?
She beat her up to death. That was in Unterlus.
In Unterlus?
In Unterlus.
Bertha?
No, that was not a Jewish girl. That was a Nazi, an SS.
And you don't know her name?
No, I don't. Susie, I know Susie, but I forgot her last name. And I had it written down someplace. Forgot.
In Auschwitz, how old were the inmates? How many people? Sex, Jewish, non-Jewish? Did you have any? Where did they come from? Like from Auschwitz, the people.
In Auschwitz, you mean?
Yeah. How old were they? How many people? Like in your block?
Well, I think maybe the oldest one that I could recall maybe was 40 years old. I don't think there were any older people left in there. Still have.
And in Auschwitz you saw only the women, but did they have any Jews, any non-Jews in Auschwitz, in your block?
No.
Or any non-Jews that you know of?
No, there were just, I remember, I could recall one girl that she said she never knew that she was Jewish because maybe her grandfather was Jewish. But they found out about it and they put her in concentration camp too. She was with us together.
And were the people in your block, the women in your block in Auschwitz or Interlus, where did they come from?
Most were from Poland and Czechoslovakia and Hungary.
And in Interlus also?
The same thing.
What about
in Interlus,
Bergen-Belsen?
where we just had from Czechoslovakia and Hungary. The same thing, yes.
Bergen-Belsen also had?
Yes. Bergen-Belsen was mixed. Bergen-Belsen, I really don't know exactly.
And do you know how many people were there?
No.
The ages approximately?
Well, there was hardly left any already when they were in Bergen-Belsen already, because most of them, or they were killed or they died, because in Bergen-Belsen was, I think it was the worst thing.
Did you have women? Did you see any men in Bergen-Belsen?
No.
Only women?
Yes. Just the Gestapo that were men, but otherwise.
What did the work consist of in Auschwitz? What did you
In
do
Auschwitz, I didn't do anything, but there were some people that used to go out to work. I think they used. I don't even remember. I think they used to say that they cleaned. They used to clean out because they kept bringing more and more transports from all over. You know, from Holland, Belgium, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Poland. Poland wasn't left already too many. I don't think so that there was any left in Poland, Jewish people.
Mm-hmm.
But they kept on bringing more and more.
Mm-hmm. What did you do in Interloos?
In Interloos, I worked, we built a street, and I worked in an ammunition factory, and then we were cutting out trees. They were supposed to build a railroad tracks, which we didn't see because we left before they were finished. I hope they never did finish.
What about Bergen-Belsen? Did you do any work there?
No.
None at all?
No.
Describe the good kapos, the bad kapos in Auschwitz.
I really don't remember their names.
You know what they look like?
No, I wouldn't remember.
What did the good ones do?
Well, they just didn't do nothing, but they didn't do bad and they didn't do good. They really couldn't do too much.
Did like the good kapos in Auschwitz, did they bring like extra food for the sick people?
No. But one incident I remember that we were standing in line because we had to stay every day in line in the morning. They were counting us, like God forbid we would run away. We had no place to run. But they were counting us, and I felt very weak. I was very sick at the time. And my sister-in-law was standing in the same line with me, and she said, well, sit down on the floor until the SS comes to count. And I sat down, but before the Gestapo came to count us, there was the head of, the Blockeltester, or the Lagereltester, whatever it was called. She came to count us, and when she saw I'm like fainted, so she slapped me on the face twice, that I saw the stars, and then I got up. She says, "What are you crazy? You want they should take you, because if the SS would come," she says, "Do you want they should take you in crematorium?" She said, "Will you stand up?" She says, "If you be sick, they take you in the crematorium and they burn you."
She was a good couple or a bad
couple? So that
couple?
means that probably I didn't feel good when she gave me when she slapped me, but this one meant probably well with it.
Did your sister-in-law sit down, or only?
No.
She only told you to sit
She
down.
told me because just for that time she didn't feel sick, but I felt sick.
Mm-hmm. What about the kapos in Interloos? What were the good ones like?
In Interloos we had no kapos. We just had some of the girls that were watching each block had their Blockeltest, it was called, and they didn't have too much either. But in Auschwitz, I understand that the kapos had it much better, and they were very mean.
And in Bergen-Belsen, did you have kapos?
I don't remember there, because as I said, I didn't stay too long. I got sick there. I was there a few days and I got sick, so I don't know what happened.
Describe the food in Auschwitz.
It was like grass and sand. They used to give us the food from. They used to bring in from someplace else. I don't even know where it was cooked, but they used to bring in. It was like water. Like I know we didn't give food like that to animals even. It was grass and sand. It was you felt under your teeth when you were eating it. Mm-hmm. You felt like like you would eat sand.
Did they give you any bread?
Sometimes it was bitter. I don't know what they put into it. Yes, they gave us, they used to give one little bread. It was a very dark bread, maybe, I don't know if it was even a pound. And we had to split it up sometimes for 5 or 6 or 7, for a group. That was once a day.
Sliced?
No, we had to measure it. No, we had to measure it
Who divided the food between you?
Well,
five?
they always picked. It just so happens that on my bed, because we were 12 or 13 on one bed, so each bed got like one bread, or two if it was sometimes two breads or sometimes one. But of course the breads were little, like I said before. So they picked one of the girls to divide to give out the bread.
Mm-hmm. What was the food like in Interlus?
In Interlus we had, it was just water. They used to boiled water with potato peel, and sometimes some little pieces of potatoes were swimming in the
How many times a day
water.
did they give you?
Once a day.
Once a day
When
they
we
fed
came
you.
home from work, we got a piece of bread, and we got the plate of, not even, everybody had their own. There we had already our own plate. In Auschwitz we had to eat from one pot, all of the 13 or 12
With spoons
or 11.
or?
No.
Oh, with your hands.
Yeah, each one gave one sip,
Oh.
from the pot, whatever they gave us.
Did you ever fight, that somebody's taking too big a sip?
No, but it wasn't so good that we should fight over it. But one day they brought us and we recognized the pail in Auschwitz. They brought up in a big pail, for the whole, by the way, we were about 1,000 in one barrack, there in Auschwitz. Mm-hmm. So they brought in one, they called it a kibble. And we recognized the kibble, but that we used to use it for the night because we were locked in if we had to go to the bathroom. So the girls, we didn't want to eat, even how hungry we were. So they punished us the next day, and they didn't give us food for 2 days for that. So we had to fast 2 days because we didn't eat one day this food, so they didn't give us the next day.
What was the food in Bergen-Belsen like?
You know what? I don't even remember really. I didn't stay so long that I guess when I got sick, I forgot everything.
What was the daily routine like in Auschwitz? When did they wake you up? What did you do?
I know it was dark not that we went to work, but they used to wake us up. We should stay in line, and the local tester used to count us, or the capo used to come and count us, and then the Germans came to count us. And if they saw somebody was sick, they picked them out from the line, and they sent them away. We didn't even know where, but then we found out what they are doing to them.
It was only women, or you had
women,
only women?
Just women.
And what did you do after roll call? After they counted you?
Then they sent us back into the barracks, and we had to stay inside.
For the whole day?
For the whole day. Just
they locked you in?
No, they didn't lock us in, but we were watched. We were not supposed to go. If we had to go to the bathroom, we had to ask them, because it was only in the whole street where it was quite a few barracks. It was only like one house, and it was open. The toilets were open, and sometimes if the SS came, and she was going always with a rubber stick, and we had to watch. If she came, she used to chase us even from there. She didn't even let us stay there.
Mm-hmm. What was the daily routine like in Interlus?
In Interlus, we got up early in the morning. It was dark. They used to count us to 5 by 5. We had to stay 5 in a row. And early in the morning, we had to walk to work. And then at night, we came home. We went when it was dark, and we came back when it was dark.
Mm-hmm. And then when you got back, they fed you and they locked you in?
Yes. They gave us, everybody was standing in line, and two of the girls were giving out the food. It was a big soup spoon that everybody got their own plate, had to watch their own plate. And there we had a spoon too already, not like in Auschwitz. We had a plate and a spoon. So they gave us one
with
spoon
your names
of
on it?
food. No, but we watched, everybody had their own, so nobody would, what do you need an extra plate, a dish.
Mm-hmm. And what about in Bergen-Belsen? When did they wake you up? What was your routine like?
In Bergen-Belsen, I don't know. I was there only about, before I got sick, before I was liberated, I was there about 3 or 4 days, really. and we didn't work there. We got sick, that's all. They put us in between all the sick people that you couldn't even recognize them. They were covered up with blotches and lice, so we didn't go to work.
Were people killed in Auschwitz?
Well,
and how and when? By whom?
Well, they weren't, I never saw anybody just like to shoot, they shut down there. But they had the ovens, they were exterminating them in the gas chamber. They took them, they didn't kill them just in the, not that I saw, maybe some other people, some other barracks, they did it. Mm-hmm. But they just took them, if anything happened, they took them to the gas chamber.
Do you know who did the killing in Auschwitz?
The Germans, the Nazis.
Were there any actions in the camp? Were there...
No.
Like, nobody got up and fought the Germans?
No.
What about in Interluce? Were people killed?
No. No, but in Interluce we used to go to work. So sometimes we used to meet with other groups, like they were political prisoners, they were from, Gefangen, like somebody who is in the army, they were captured.
Yeah, prisoners of war.
Prisoners of war. And they used to go to work too. Some prisoners of war, like they had French.
Were they in Interluce also?
That was in Interluce. Just in Interluce. So we sometimes, when they went to work, like they went to different places, but we used to meet up with them, and every day with the same group, French, Italian. So some of the girls spoke French or Italian, and they used to, as we walked, they used to ask questions about if they know any news, because we never had a paper or anything. We didn't know what was going on. We didn't know what date it is or what day it is. So some of these prisoners of war used to, if they had a chance, if the Gestapo, the SS wasn't too close to watch, so they used to slip one of them used to correspond, like in the line, he used to leave a letter to the girl, to throw a letter to her, to one of the girls that she spoke French. And one day the SS were looking, they came to see if we have something in our beds. That's all we had where we slept. So they found this note, and it said about, that we'll be, don't worry about it, that the war will be over soon, and things like that, politics. So they took her, they came, I think Mengele, Dr. Mengele, and a car with big ranking officers. And they took this girl away, and we never saw her again. So we never knew what happened.
We didn't know.
They didn't hang her? No, just one we saw that was killed because she took a blanket, and it was very cold.
In Interluce?
To go in Interluce. It was very cold in the morning, and we went only in one dress we had, that's all, to go to work. So she had a blanket, she got a blanket, from the blanket, I don't know where she got a scissor, you organized everything little by little, and she made herself like a vest. And when this SS was, sometimes they used to undress us and see what we have on. And she found this on her, so she took her into the laundry room, and she beat her up that the next morning she was dead.
Mm-hmm. And what about in Bergen-Belsen? Were people killed, or they just died by themselves?
Well, in Bergen-Belsen they died by themselves. They were hungry, and they were neglected. They were, they didn't clean them. They didn't give them a chance to wash themselves, and so they died from typhus. They all got typhus, and they died.
Were there any actions in Bergen-Belsen or Interluce? No resistance?
No.
Were there any attempts to escape from Auschwitz?
Not, well, maybe there were some people. I never even thought of it that I could do it, because there was no place to run. Where could you run? You were watched like dogs. They watched us.
What about in Toulouse? Were there any escape plans?
No.
And Bergen-Belsen?
In Toulouse we couldn't escape either because we were locked up as soon as it got dark. They locked us up in the windows.
Nobody tried?
No, you couldn't. You couldn't. We were watched day and night. The Gestapo used to go around even if it was... There we didn't have barbed wire. It was... we were fenced around and we lived in the woods. We didn't even know where we are.
In Toulouse?
In Toulouse. It was in the woods. The barracks were in the woods. We didn't know where we were. And the SS used to watch, few SS the whole night. They were watching. They were, walking around the barracks.
And in Bergen-Belsen, anybody try to escape?
Not as far as I know.
Was there an organized underground in Auschwitz that you know of?
Not that I know of. Maybe it was, but not with my knowledge.
Planned resistance? No resistance. And was there any contact with the outside from Auschwitz?
No.
Was there an underground in Toulouse?
No.
No resistance either?
No.
And no contact with the outside?
No.
How about Bergen-Belsen? Was there any?
No. We didn't know.
Underground?
I really didn't know what day it is. We didn't know nothing. We were there about 800 girls, and we didn't even know what day it is. We didn't know what date and what day, what month, nothing.
Mm-hmm. Was there any attempts at culture activities, like concerts in Auschwitz?
Are you kidding?
Or music?
No.
Or nothing?
Oh, no. We just had one kind of music
Art.
that we were told that they play that music just when they burned the people, when they put them to the ovens.
What about in Toulouse? Was there any cultural activities there?
Nothing.
And in Bergen-Belsen?
No place.
Were there any children in Auschwitz? Hidden or open?
No. I didn't, not that maybe it was, but I didn't see any.
And in Toulouse?
In Toulouse I just saw when we were running away, when they wanted us to work with the skeletons. So we happened to run into, a few of us happened to run into hide in a barrack, and there we saw some children, so we were shocked because we never saw any children since we left home. So after, when we came out from the hideout, it was explained to us that these children were from American citizens.
Oh, you mean Bergen-Belsen?
And that was in Bergen-Belsen. I said in Toulouse? No, in Toulouse we didn't see any children.
No children.
No.
You didn't? Did you know if they were hidden or anything?
No, they were not. No, we didn't
know. Were there any relations between Jewish inmates in Auschwitz?
No.
No men, no women?
We had no men, and we weren't together. We could see men through the barbed wire sometimes, but nothing that I should know.
Was there antagonisms? What did between Jews and between different Jews, like between Polish Jews and German Jews, or between Hungarian Jews and Polish Jews? Were there fights?
Well, not exactly fights, but I wouldn't say that they were too crazy about each other. I don't think the Polish liked the Hungarians, and I don't think the Hungarians...
Did you see any fighting?
No, fights they had none, no.
Did they say anything to each other, or...?
No. Just when we arrived to Bergen-Belsen, the ones that were there already, they felt that for our group, it was most of us, it was Polish girls too with us, but most of us they called Hungarian, even if it was Czechoslovakian, they said Hungarians. So there they showed, till then we didn't even know anything, but when we arrived to Bergen-Belsen, the ones that were there from before, and if they were I don't know, Blockeltestes or whatever, they were capos or whatever, I don't know. Mm-hmm. They showed that they just wanted us right away. They said, this is a healthy group with Hungarians. Let them go into the barracks with the sick people. They should get sick. they should die, they should drop dead. That's
These
all.
were
That's
Polish
the-
Jews
that
that
was
said
Pol-
this?
That was Polish Jewish girls that said that.
And in Interlus and in
No, we were,
Auschwitz, you didn't. They
No.
didn't say anything. They
No.
didn't start
No.
fights.
no.
Were there any? Did you get any help from fellow inmates? Like if you were in trouble, like in Auschwitz, did they help you? And let's say you didn't feel good, did they help keep you up? Or
They couldn't, they were, everybody was in the same boat.
everybody was for
was
themselves. Nobody
themselves,
looked for the
no.
other person.
No, well, they
Yeah.
couldn't really, nobody had, everybody had the same thing.
What about in Interlus? Did you get any help from fellow
Well,
inmates?
And in Toulouse, it was a quiet group. I mean, it was no fights, no nothing, and we were going to work every day.
Oh, but
You know, there were
you-
more groups,
Did you
but
help
they got
each
along.
other?
Yes, they got along very
Like
well.
if you
That
had
group,
some
yes,
trouble.
yeah, that group got along very well.
How about in Bergen-Belsen?
In Bergen-Belsen, I didn't stay too long, so I don't know.
Oh.
It was,
Did you get sick?
I got sick in Bergen-Belsen. Yeah.
In any of the other camps? Did you get sick in Auschwitz?
No, not that I remember. No.
How about in Toulouse?
No. I just a cold if I got, but I didn't
Did they
even
give you
complain.
anything?
I didn't even complain
never
about
complained?
it. No, because I was afraid if I complain they'll kill me.
How about in Bergen-Belsen? When you got sick, did you tell anybody or?
Well, in Bergen-Belsen, when I got sick, it was already it was after the liberation, after we were liberated. The English were with us already when I got sick.
Mm-hmm. In Auschwitz, was there any medical, any doctors?
I don't think so. There really you couldn't complain. There, if any little thing, even if they saw a little spot on you, anything, they right away they took you away, and we didn't even know where. You know, it was like even if sisters were together, and if one just a little anything, any little thing, if they saw a little spot, right away they took them to the crematorium.
Did you? Well, how about in Interlus? Did you have any medical attention there?
Well, they had it was supposed to be one room was supposed to be for medical attention. It was one girl. She was from Munkat. She acted as a doctor. I don't know.
German or Jewish?
No, Jewish. And it was a German doctor too that used to come in. I mean, he didn't stay there, but he used to come in.
And how about in Bergen-Belsen? Was there any medical attention?
Not that I know of.
No. What type of clothing and sanitary conditions was there in Auschwitz?
In Auschwitz, they took away our clothes as soon as we arrived. They shaved us, they took away the clothes, and they gave us some old clothes, you know. Everybody got different rags, I should say, and they took away even the shoes they left, you know. Just if you had very, very fancy shoes, so they took it away, but if it was plain shoes, they left it. But once we arrived to Unterlus, they took away the shoes too from us.
And you walked
And they
around
gave us
barefoot
they gave us wooden shoes, and everybody in Unterlus, everybody got a prisoner dress, you know, like with a stripe.
What about in
No underwear, no nothing, just a dress. In Bergen-Belsen, well, we came to Bergen-Belsen in the same dress. We had
but you didn't change there.
No, just in Auschwitz, we got they took away our clothes, and they gave us some old rags, and then when we came to Unterlus, they gave us the striped dress, one dress, and that we had to, you know, we wanted to keep clean. They had only one washroom, they called it. So Sunday morning, if we didn't go to work, then we used to wash and dry the dress, or if it wasn't dry, we put on the same dress, you know.
You
because
didn't
we
work
didn't have,
7 days a week. You
no,
worked 6
no,
days a
just
week.
sometimes if they needed, they used to call that sometimes Sunday they needed some extra work to do, you know, like they were building the bunkers, they called it, you know, so they used to pick out, they used to say that you should freiwillig, you know, whoever wants to go, but they picked out themselves whoever they wanted. I used to go almost every Sunday. They used to take me and many other girls. But there they used to take us with a truck Sunday. It was
Oh, you didn't have to walk
we
then?
didn't have to walk. It was very far out.
What type of sanitary conditions did you have in Auschwitz?
In Auschwitz, they used to take us, I don't even remember how often, they used to take us to a place where they took away our clothes and they used to spray with some kind of like kerosene. And they shaved us.
They kept shaving you.
Kept shaving us.
What were the sanitary conditions in Interloos?
In Interloos, they had a big washroom, they call it. It was no hot water, just cold water. So we used to go whenever we wanted to wash up. We used to wash up without no soap, just to wash up.
Do you have any towels?
No.
No, you
No
just,
towel. We just
put
wash.
your dress on.
Yeah, and here we didn't have. They shaved us anyway, so we had no problem with washing hair.
What about in Bergen-Belsen? Did they have any sanitary conditions?
That I don't really know. I didn't.
What were the bathrooms like? Like in?
I don't remember. Isn't that really?
In
It's
Bergen-Belsen?
terrible. You know, I can't understand why I don't remember anything. Things like that I don't remember really from Bergen-Belsen.
Did they have any bathrooms in Interloos?
Bathrooms? Yes. They had. Yes.
And they let you use it?
Yes. Yes.
And in Auschwitz?
Well, at night we couldn't go out to the bathroom. At night they had because we were
You had a
locked in.
pail.
So we had a big pail there, and we had to go there if somebody had to go.
And in Auschwitz?
In Auschwitz we had one big. It was a big bathroom. It was opened for the whole for all the barracks.
And you can go whenever you wanted, or?
No, we had to ask the Blockeltester, and sometimes if the Gestapo got us there, she used to chase us even from there. We had to run. She wouldn't let us sit there either, even if we had nothing to do.
What about? Did anybody get any mail officially, or in Auschwitz? Anybody get any mail?
Not that I know
Packages?
about. I don't know anything about
No
it.
packages. How about in Interloos?
Well, once they let us write. They said we should write. They gave us a card, and they postal card. We should write. I had nobody to write to it because I left. Nobody was left behind.
And what about in Interloos? Did anybody get any mail or packages?
No.
No. And in Bergen-Belsen?
No.
Nobody.
Nobody.
Okay. That's it.
Danke.